Good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Trust that you are well today. Well, lots going on this weekend, right? No, out of coffee. Lots going on this weekend. Looks like the city of New York or the state of New York is about to seize Donald Trump's assets in order to pay for the $400 million plus bond. Seems excessive. We'll find out. It's Friday. The bond is due by Monday. It looks like Truth Social is going to go public, and if it goes public, that will produce enough money to pay the bond. But Trump can't get that money for another, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out. I'm not so afraid for Trump as I am for America. While this is going on, Americans ought to be aware. Because again, if this kind of stuff can happen to someone who is as rich and powerful as Donald Trump, what do you think that they'll do to us? That they can do to us? That this sort of behavior is going on, this sort of manipulation of the courts is going on. Judges in the right place if you're the right person, or judges in the wrong place if you're the wrong person. Anyway, let's get started. I said forever that this program, I spend half my time with my foot in the left's behind, and the other half in the Republicans behind. Here's my time to spend put my foot in the Republican behind. I don't know who this woman is, and I had not heard of her before she was elected to Congress. But you know what? I'm getting really tired of Marjorie Taylor Greene. There, I said it. I said it. I said it. Getting really tired. So after the U.S. House Representative passed a funding package to avert a government shutdown, the vote was 286 to 134 on Friday. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a Republican from Georgia, introduced a motion to vacate the chair. Remember that happened to Kevin McCarthy? The vehicle by which the House can remove the speaker, which was used by Matt Gaetz to start the nonsense with Kevin McCarthy back in October. Now, she hopes to do the various things to strip Speaker Mike Johnson. It took forever for Mike Johnson to become the Speaker. The formal move comes after Greene warned in an interview this week that passing a minibus funding bill, will be the fall of Mike Johnson. Previously, Representative Greene aired her concerns about the bill in a speech on the House floor. She said, this bill will absolutely destroy our majority. And she, it's funny, she warned her colleagues during the debate on the legislation. No Republican in good conscience can vote for the uniparty minibus. This is not a Republican bill. It's a Chuck Schumer Democrat control bill coming from the Republican controlled House. The Speaker of the House should not bring it to the floor. After filing the motion, here's what she had to say on the steps of the Capitol. Somebody from CNN asked her, "Is this the fight you want to have in an election year?" She said, "Absolutely, because damn it, I want to win that House. I want to win the White House. I want to win the Senate. I want to restore this country back to greatness." That's what she said. Now, I'd call her a bumper sticker Republican. What? What are you saying? Those are all great things you can put on a bumper sticker. All those are all great things to put on a t-shirt. But governing, actual governing is hard. This is something that Barack Obama found out. Winning elections, not that hard compared to governing. As tough as it is, and especially when you don't have the majority, it's a lot easier if you have the House and the Senate and the White House. But almost nobody has that anymore. Republicans definitely don't. They've got a razor thin and even shrinking majority in the House. Okay. And we're going to talk about that majority is going to get even thinner here in a little bit, and we'll talk about that in this program. Um, what you have to do is make sure, especially in an election year, that you don't give ammunition to the other side. And the ammunition that will be given to the other side is that because the American people have been sold a bill of goods on government shutdowns are bad, right? Although they've been going on forever. You know, under both under both Democrat and Republican presidents, shutdowns have been going on forever, which is really the problem. The problem is not the shutdown. The shutdown is just a symptom of people refuse to do their work. These folks continuously refuse to do their work, and the American public continues to accept it. I am not. Before you get crazy, before all y'all lose your mind, I am definitely for if for some reason they can't decide all 435 of them can't get a budget, can't do their works. I mean, they can see how somehow find a way to ban TikTok, but they have not for years been able to create a budget that they can pass and move on to the Senate and move on to the president's desk in what I would call a much more responsible thing than this continuous, kicking the can down the road. We're going to fund the government for another 3 months. We're going to fund the government for another 14 hours. That kind of BS. Yes, but there is gamesmanship, unfortunately, because the public has been lied to and believes these weird deceptions about what government shutdowns are. As much as you don't want to play the game sometimes, you got to. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. Sometimes you got to play the game. Mike Johnson was put in a position where, as Speaker, he had to bring that bill to the floor. Now, here's the thing: if Marjorie Taylor Greene was going to be so persuasive in her argument, then she needed to persuade her fellow House members to vote against it, but they didn't. So blaming someone for just saying, "Hey, y'all vote on this," when they had an opportunity to vote against it, you're blaming the wrong person. And so what it looks like, Representative Green, is like you're just throwing a tantrum. You're not on the vanguard leading the conservative cause. You end up just sounding like a screaming Mimi, a whining bitch, if you please, if I may. That's what it ends up looking like. Now I know you don't think that, and I know there's a lot of people out there who don't think that, but you know what? There are a whole bunch of people who do. I mean, when a lot of us saw this headline, most of us just went, "Oh my God." The headline in townhall.com is, "Here we go again." This is not good. And what needs to happen is there needs to be a humongous vote. Here's here's the problem. If indeed there's a vote, Democrats are going to do what? They're going to stick together, and they're all going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, just like before. Nothing is going to change. And so making sure that you have enough votes, that you don't have people not vote, abstain, or vote present is going to be really, really important and really tough to do. From a pure strategy standpoint, this this move is how should I say this? Ate up with a dumbass. Completely ate up with a dumbass. And it's a shame. I think that Mike Johnson's a good dude. I think he's doing the very best he can under horrific, horrific circumstances. That's the deal. Shut, if you don't, if you can't read, if you can't make the budget, if you can't, produce a balanced budget, then shut the government down. Just shut them. Just shut it down. Pull, pull the plug. Shut it down. All this other stuff is nonsensical. Now, the problem with shutting it down is you don't really achieve anything. Everybody gets paid. People get furloughed. Everybody gets paid. You spend exactly the same amount of money. So it's really almost not worth doing, right? It's kind of a dumb thing because it doesn't really accomplish anything. That's why we keep going back and forth in this, in this kabuki theater of BS. Shut it down. Okay. And then bring people back in 3 weeks and everybody gets their money. Wait a minute, I thought you were shutting it down to save money because no, because there wasn't money to run it, but you found the money to pay people. So why'd you shut it down in the first place? You know what I'm saying? And we've all been sucked into this melodrama that that Marjorie Taylor Greene is exacerbating and actually damaging the chances of keeping a Republican majority. She's going to keep on doing this until Hakeem Jeffries is Speaker of the House with a Republican majority. Maybe somebody should start whispering in her ear. Someone who's her friend, who's her colleague, start whispering in her ear that maybe should withdraw this motion. Maybe that will be a good idea. All right. We mentioned at the beginning of the show that Trump may get $3 billion richer after going public with True Social amid his $464 million looming bond. Former President Trump is eyeing to sell his social media platform through Social amid the looming deadline for him to pay a $464 million bond to the state of New York in his civil fraud case. $464 million bond is excessive. So today, shareholders in Digital World Acquisition Corporation approved a merger with True Social, potentially making him $3.5 billion richer. The news comes as New York Attorney General Letitia James moved to seize Trump's assets, as well as Mar-a-Lago, if he's unable to get the money to pay his multi-million-dollar bond. That means that Trump's private firm, Trump Media and Technology Group, can trade on the stock market under the stock ticker DJT as early as next week. The former president will own about 79 million shares in the company should it merge, which is currently at $41 a share. And you know that people are going to say, Give me some of that. Give me 10 shares of that. Give me 2 shares of that. However, Trump will not be able to receive the money he makes until 6 months after the merger, making it difficult to pay the bond before Monday. The deadline is Monday. The vote comes roughly 2 years after the special purpose acquisition company announced its plan to merge with Trump Media and Technology Group. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk presented an idea that Trump to seek a waiver to liquidate his stock before the end of the lockup period in order to use the cash to secure the $464 million bond. Here's what Kirk said. Breaking. Shareholders have just voted to make Trump Media Technology Group, the parent company of Truth Social, a publicly traded company. This could net Trump a windfall of $4 billion, $3.5 billion. The president would need to seek a waiver to liquidate his stock before the end. Oh, and I clicked the button. Before the end of the lockup period to use the cash. Letitia James get Trump fraud case, then appeal the decision. Trump has nearly $500 million in cash, but experts claim he needs $1 billion in cash to secure the bond, to secure a bond that size. Yeah, you do. So we're going to see, right? So last Thursday, Trump's lawyer Clifford Roberts sent a letter to the appellate division of the New York Supreme Court arguing that James's demand of forcing Trump to pay nearly a half a billion dollar bond in the full amount to appeal is unreasonable, unjust, and unconstitutional. Critics warn that if James seizes assets of Trump's, it will backfire. It will backfire. Frank Luntz told CNN that the chances of the former president being elected in November will only go up, arguing that Trump will go up in the polls, just like he went up every single time they indicted. Everybody will be in on it because it's just like I said before. If they could do this to Trump, what can they do to you? Crap, what can they do to someone like me? And people are starting to see that. It isn't that I'm worried about Donald Trump. I'm worried, like Peter Navarro said, I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about my country. There's a lot and right now there's a lot to worry about. Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to stop, and one of the reasons she needs to stop is that there is another Republican who's going to resign from the House in April. Now the elections for the House of Representatives in November, April. That's May, June, July, August, September, October. November is when the elections for the House are. Representative Mike Gallagher, a Republican from Wisconsin, will depart the House of Representatives in April, in yet another blow to an ever-dwindling Republican majority. Politico reported Gallagher's forthcoming resignation Friday afternoon, and the congressman later confirmed that he's planning to exit the lower chamber on April 19th. Here's a statement from Gallagher. After conversations with my family, I have made the decision to resign my position as a member of the House of Representatives for Wisconsin's 8th District, effective April 19, 2024. I've worked closely with with the House Republican leadership on this timeline and look forward to seeing Speaker Johnson appoint a new chair to carry out the important mission of the Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. My office will continue to operate and provide constituent services to the 8th District for the remainder of the term. 4 years serving Northwest Wisconsin in Congress has been the honor of a lifetime and has strengthened my convictions that America is the greatest country in the world. I will forever be proud of the work I did on the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, chairing the Cyberspace Solarium Commission and chairing the Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. It has truly been an honor to serve in the House of Representatives. Mike Gallagher, member of Congress, Wisconsin's 8th District. Once Gallagher leaves the chamber, Republicans will have a 217 to 18 majority over the Democrats when everybody's there. This translates to a 1-seat majority for Republicans. If two Republicans break with the Democrats on a vote that is along party lines, the result will be 215 to 215. Republicans currently hold a 219 to 213 seat majority, but that will dwindle because Ken Buck is leaving too. The move, which NBC notes, will not result in a special elections. So they won't have a special election right away to replace him. So it has implications for Speaker Mike Johnson. As I just told you, Marjorie Taylor Greene filed a motion to vacate him on Friday morning before the House voted on the $1.2 trillion omnibus spending package. As the motion is not privileged, the House does not immediately have to take it up. Breitbart News Capitol Hill correspondent Bradley J. noted. With the House to recess for the next 2 weeks, the motion will await Johnson when members return on April 9th, days before Gallagher departs. Greene filed the motion, the same procedure I told you that was used to take the gavel away from former Speaker Kevin McCarthy after Johnson violated the Haskert rule to hold a vote on omnibus. The rule dictates that a Republican speaker cannot pass legislation without the support of the majority of the House Republican Conference. Yet only 101 Republicans voted for the bill, with 112 voting in opposition, he wrote. Well, this Haskert rule is not a law. It's not a law. And all he did, and he didn't pass any legislation. He set it out there for people to vote for. They couldn't convince the 101 Republicans who voted for the bill to vote against it. Couldn't convince half of them. Republicans started the 118th Congress with a 10-seat advantage over Democrats, 222 to 212. But a flurry of resignations and the expulsion of George Santos following the McCarthy ouster has severely undermined what was already a delegate majority. This is bad strategy. I heard, Ned Ryan when I was, running for office. And those of you who are listening on the podcast and you don't see the video, I'm wearing my lost in 2016 for Hillsborough County Commission District 3 shirt. And during this election, I had honor to talk to Ned Ryan of American Majority. And one of the things he said in one of his clinics was that winning elections equaled policy. Because if you don't win elections, you can't set policy. So if you don't win here, because of all the inside baseball and all the I want to be seen-ness that's going on here, and this is back to Matt Gaetz too. I'm not letting Matt Gaetz off the hook either. But Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz, and this continuing, stabbing the horse you're riding. People getting kicked out of the Freedom Caucus. What? Conservatives, unfortunately, only have one horse in this race to ride on. And Republicans and some conservatives are stabbing that very horse in the neck as we're rounding that turn to the November elections. Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ken Buck and Mike Gallagher and Matt Gates are stabbing the only horse that we have in the neck as we're rounding the turn. According to Politico, Gallagher's ally says that he was long jaded by the antics of the House following the removal of McCarthy as Speaker. McCarthy's exit marked the beginning of the resignation exodus of House Republicans as former Rep. Bill Johnson left in January. Tom Scuzzo, Democrat of New York, won that special election to replace Santos. Right? It's a it's tough, but it's tough with a 5-seat majority. It's tough with a 2-seat majority. One is going to be the same. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise told Politico on Friday, "We all have to work together. We're all going to have to unite if we're going to get some things done." That's all there is to it. You're going to have to fight. People will talk all the time like, they ought to just work together. Hell, the Republicans can't work together, and people have said this, and it's playing out to be true. Um, Republicans don't know how to win. I guess they get so used to losing at that level, they don't know how to win. They don't know how to win an election and then act like they won. I think that I believe there's all this false, um, it's not humility, there's all this false bravado and there's all this false, I'm so much better and more pure than everybody else. And I'm going to do whatever I can to prove it instead of winning and actually moving a conservative agenda forward in a real way. Gates, you saw it in Gates, you see it in Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you see it in others. It is distressing. One of the things that we say all the time here in the South, in order to train the animal, you have to be what? First, you have to be smarter than the animal. And it doesn't seem like we have people or electing, or that we're electing people that are smarter than the animal. It's going to be a rough 6, 7 months, isn't it? Anyway, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye bye now.